Just when you think that 2019 has already reached peak stupidity, we get this story. U.S. military warns troops about possible Joker incel violence. No credible threats reported. This is what we've come to, folks. No actual threats, but hey, this potentially non-woke movie might set some people off. Let me be clear. Movies, music, and video games are not going to incite individuals towards violence. They are already very sick people. Warner Brothers says the movie does not endorse real-world violence. The fact that Warner even had to make this statement is just pathetic. The military has sent a memo to service members warning about the possibility of incel violence targeting screenings of Warner Brothers' upcoming comic book movie, Joker. And there we have it, folks. That word, incel, which describes a good percentage of my detractors. No specific attacks or credible threats have been determined, but the military is upping awareness for its service members. I wonder why this movie was chosen. It's a mystery. The Army confirmed Tuesday, September 24th, with the woke bumpkins at IO9, that FBI officials contacted them to say that they uncovered social media posts related to incel extremists who are referencing on social media violent attacks at Joker screenings. Wait, I thought there were no credible threats. The Army's memo classifies incels as individuals who express frustration from perceived disadvantages to starting intimate relationships. Sorry, haters, but I'm sure things will work out eventually. The memo informs service members that incel extremists idolize violent individuals like the Aurora movie theater shooter. I'm guessing that we have SJWs and feminists working for the military and writing memos now. They idolize the Joker character. Citation needed, please. The violent clown from the Batman series admiring his depiction of a man who must pretend to be happy but eventually fights back against his bullies. Morons! The Joker is a villain. He's supposed to be villainous. Yes, he might be one of the best known villains of all time, but he's still a villain. Idiots! And 99.9% of incels are not violent. They are mainly just sad. And as I said, that 0.1% are not going to be set off by a movie. They are already nuts. What this really is another current year attack on men. Granted, they are not exactly alpha men, but this is still the general current year pattern. We do this routinely because the safety and security of our workforce is paramount. An Army spokesperson told IO9 about widely distributing a warning. We want our workforce to be prepared and diligent on personal safety both inside the workplace and out. Yep, because we got a potentially non-woke movie that stars a white male that isn't bowing to the SJW feminist cause. What is the world coming to? 12 people were murdered on July 20th, 2012. When a gunman in Aurora, Colorado, opened fire on moviegoers watching Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Rises. Family members of some of the Aurora shooting victims recently sent a letter to Warner Brothers expressing concerns over the Joker release. While the family members are not boycotting the Joker release or asking Warner Brothers to cancel it, they are urging the studio to support anti-gun laws in the lead-up to the film's October theatrical release. Let me be clear, nobody is trying to diminish the horrific events that surrounded the mass shooting at the Century 16 multiplex in 2012. James Holmes was a sick and twisted individual, but it wasn't The Dark Knight Rises that led him to this brutal attack. It has been reported that the Century 16 theater in Aurora will not be screening the film. I think it's best to continue as normal, and perhaps showing the film at the Century 16 would make a statement that you won't let people like James Holmes win. But I'm not going to attack these families, as most of us could never comprehend what they went through 7 years ago. But now back to the stupidity. Warner Brothers followed up by issuing its own statement standing by Joker, saying the movie does not endorse real-world violence. Good on you, Warner. A movie like this never would have been considered by Disney, nor is it the intention of the film, the filmmakers, or the studio to hold this character up as a hero. That should be taken as a given, but people are so coddled now that they are triggered by movies. Just look at a film released and say, the 70s. You people would need to be institutionalized. The studio also mentioned that it has a long history of donating to victims of violence, including Aurora. And in recent weeks, our parent company joined with other business leaders to call on policymakers to enact bipartisan legislation to address this epidemic. Good on you. There is an epidemic. But I will repeat, these mass shootings are not instigated by music, video games, or movies. They are instigated by very sick individuals, and yet every time the mass media tries to find a link. Here's another perspective. If you are hellbent on finding a link that doesn't exist, then why not look into all the properties and franchises that seek to diminish and vilify straight white males at every opportunity? And they do so by co-opting everything. By using your logic, I would tend to think that these films and television shows might be more likely to incite violence. But we can't talk about that now, can we? The US military memo, which has been posted in full on IO9's website, says that intel recovered from Incel social media posts presents a potential risk to DoD personnel and family members, though there are no known specific credible threats to the opening of the Joker on October 4th. An overreaction if ever I saw one. The statement adds, when entering theaters, identify 2 escape routes, remain aware of your surroundings, and remember the phrase, run, hide, fight. It's always good to be vigilant, but it's pathetic when you identify one work of fiction when, as I said, using your logic, there are others that are much more likely to incite anger. Not violence, but anger. Warner Brothers is releasing Joker in theaters nationwide on October 4th. I'll be there, and I hope you are all there too. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is deleting subscribers, and follow me on Twitter. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.